So we still talking about sports.
You don't want to talk about sports.
You don't want to talk about sports.
I've never seen her be so quiet. So
she
had
the arms folded, everything. She was like,
I mean, I know some of the players.
It was just like
it was like Sunday at 1:00. She knew that she had to have everything prepared for the game. She's just sitting there and clueless.
No, I know some of y'all talking about, but I ain't know all of that.
Oh yeah, you probably knew the players. Probably knew the players, but besides that,
I don't know the history though. Like y'all do. Y'all was.
It's okay though.
Move that chair for me.
It's okay.
That black one. Do it out the way. There it is. Now we got the view, folks.
Yeah, sure.
All right, bless y'all. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Have a good one. Drive safely.
Yes, indeed.
Oh.
That was fun.
Yeah, man.
That was fun.
That's why I love just having when we bring folk. Just,
it's a blessing.
It's wonderful. And then being able to just talk to him.
Oh, that was real.
That was so cool.
I'm glad you shared that story.
Those are moments that I just, I wish that I experienced. I got the chance to get it from, folk that were a lot older than me, but I wish that I had it from people that were around my age.
Right. That's the key.
Being at home, you'll have people that will be in the church that will go to college, and then they will decide because they're not getting treated with the respect in the church that I grew up in, they decided to leave. So everybody that I knew that at least tried to go to college, I didn't even get a chance to talk to. They had dipped out. Then I had one guy, he ended up going, and I saw what happened to him, and he was doing great. And then it was like he left, he ain't come back either. I was like, so yeah, but it's wonderful for me to, because I'm not gonna lie, when I went back home and I recognized things weren't the same, it was like I kind of like said, I'm gonna dip out too. So I left for about a few years, and I didn't like leave as in like I'm not coming back to this church ever, but it was just more of like I had to experience on my own what I never knew. Mm-hmm. And it was like I knew of God.
Right.
I knew that to worship Him was how to connect with Him, but I never knew exactly how to worship Him.
Right.
And going to the church that I was at, it was like I understood that worship was necessary, but I never understood how to exactly do it. And it was like people would tell you, come on, clap your hands, but if you ain't feeling it,
right? If you don't feel it,
you're not gonna be able to do it. And being able to come to college, go to other churches, being able to fellowship with other brothers and sisters of in Christ. That's what made it grow. Yeah.
And I'll say, me and Des were talking about,
and that's what made the worship come about.
Me and Des, I was telling him, we were talking how you can be raised in the church and have that background and know the scriptures and know the word and know what it means to know Christ and proclaim God as your Savior and worship. But until you get put in a situation to be able to know Him for yourself, that's the big part. And actually, like you said, learn how to worship Him. For me, it hit when I was a senior in high school. And the first letter I got from Lincoln was a denial letter. And that's what made me have to be like, whoa, I got to get right. Because my first letter was not.
I might start crying now.
Because, see, I didn't finish out my high school career the way a responsible young man should. I was focused on I was like, I'm getting football letters, I'm about to play football, like, I'm not even trying to do this on homework no more. I'm focused on playing football at the next level and how I'm gonna go pro and how I'm gonna provide for my family. And Lincoln wanted me, and I was hyped and excited. And it was like the first letter I got was, you ain't been accepted. And the crazy part, I didn't prepare the right way either. Being young and dumb, I didn't apply to any other schools. Like I went on visits for different schools and people that offered me money, and it was great. It felt good. We wanted to play football for them and play a sport for them, and you're going to different schools and being offered money. But Lincoln offered me the most, so I was like, I'm gonna go here. So I didn't submit anything for those other schools, and the first that I got back was a now letter. And mind you, this is like a month before Lincoln, you were about to come for transition week. So for a month, I'm sitting here like, and mind you, I'm sitting here like, I don't know what to do now, because Lincoln was the answer for me. I don't know. I didn't apply to community college. I was about to just be another statistic, somebody that graduated high school in my town and nothing, just worked. So for a month, I was like, I don't know what to do. There's nothing I can do right now. And it just hit me. It was like, you know what, Caden, you need to put that faith to work that you've been learning about for these 18 years, and you need to get closer to that big man, because he's going to be the only one that can help get you to where you're trying to go and get you around the people you need to get to. So I really, like they say, the worst place to find a Christian is on his knees. I got on my knees, started praying hard. And lo and behold, it got to a point where I was able to talk to people in Lincoln and find out was there anything I could do, some way, shape, or form I could get into this school. And I got in contact with somebody in the admissions office, and he went over my scores and my GPA and the classes and things like that. And we just talked, really. We didn't even really talk about any of that stuff. We just had a genuine conversation about being responsible, maturing, getting older. And he asked me a question. He said, because I guess my last name, I told him where I grew up in Kansas. He said, do you know the Johnsons or something like that? I said, yeah, they're my neighbors and we grew up together. He said, you know what? All right, man, let me really look into this thing. So he hung up the phone. I waited around for like 15 minutes. Next thing you know, he calls you back and he says, you know what? We're going to let you in. You know, your SAT scores were just possibly high enough to be able to get you in with the qualifications. And we're going to let you in. He said, make sure you come here and you be more responsible than you were and you handle business. And man, I have never been so happy in my life. And like, only thing I could do was look up and be like, yo, look at God. Because I promise you, obviously it was nothing I did because the first letter I got was a denial letter. So I promise you it wasn't nothing I did. That wasn't nothing but prayer and faith. And lo and behold, I come here and I meet people like Brandon and Dez and Brad and all my friends here, man. And I have been ministered to in such a way it's phenomenal. I have never felt like the presence of God in my life this much. Even like being raised in the church, like I've been in church and felt the presence of God, but being able to feel it for myself and learning how to worship and how to grow and how to like really get in His presence, man, it's been a blessing. But yeah, like that denial letter was probably the best thing ever. Because I was just kind of floating through life like, yeah, I know I'm Christian, I know God, I know He's gonna bless me. And then when I got the letter, I was like, yeah, this thing is real. And I gotta get real with it. And I gotta get realer, you know what I mean? Especially where I wanna go in life or what I wanna do with my family and how I want to live and what I want my friends to be able to enjoy in life. I gotta get even realer. I gotta get even closer to them. You know what I mean? So this is, but I'm blessed to have the people I'm around. And y'all minister to me in so many ways. It's phenomenal. And I hope I can give y'all a laugh and a smile and a good minister back. You know what I mean? Hope it goes both ways, man. But yeah, that denial letter was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. That's real. That's being real.
I don't mind me sharing mine.
Absolutely.
Listen.
Well, we want everybody here. This is for people, man.
What got me so emotional with it was because literally it was like you had just gave me a replay of my life. That's why I say our lives are part of a movie, as a movie, because we all have experienced something that we've all gone through, and if it's not at the same caliber, it's something. It's something. Never forget when I was in high school.
Remember years of moving the game now, bro.
When I was in high school, I never really took college serious. I never thought about college. I was playing football, and then I stopped playing because I didn't have good grades. Plus, you know, I wasn't all that as good as everybody else was. And then I did, you know, they were offering opportunities for me to get better. I tried to take advantage of it. You know, I did, but I still wasn't doing good academic-wise. So then, you know, ended up the football program, ended up getting messed up, even though I wasn't all that great. I was pretty decent where I could have gotten, where I know friends that I played with could have gotten scholarship and everything like that. But yeah, man, being able to just recognize that where I was and just seeing now is just crazy.
It's a blessing.
It's crazy because back then, like I said, you know, academic wise, it was so bad. It was so bad that I had and I always said I would never ever like publicly speak about it, but somebody needs to hear it. When I was in high school, I had a .75 GPA my freshman year. I thought being in class when I was the best thing ever because you were a popular kid.
Yep.
And I've been teased and picked on growing up. I had some people that were my friend that appreciated me. I had some people that didn't. I had one girl that always used to make fun of me. Everybody that knows this on Facebook that watches the videos, they know exactly what I'm talking about. And I wasn't that dude that everybody appreciated, that it was like, the cute guy or things like that. That's why I said, you know, I really took time to understand how women really act because they didn't give me attention, so I went on to try to figure it out myself.
Yeah.
And once the time came, and I got to that office with my mom, and it was just crazy how it happened because I got suspended from school for tossing a pencil across the classroom, trying to toss it to a friend, and it ended up hitting a boy in the eye.
Oh.
And I got suspended for that. And in order for me to come back, my mom had to come up and meet with the principal, the vice principal. And then I didn't know that the principal was in the office either. And that's when they had informed me that I had that .75 GPA. And at that point in time, my mom had asked me to, on the way up to the school, she kept asking me, she said, what am I going to find out before I even walk in campus? And in my mind, I'm like, well, it is, I'm failing. Ain't nothing else crazy. But at that moment, I'm just like, well, it ain't that crazy. Well, you gonna have to kill me. So,
Right.
I'll just, keep my mouth shut and let you find out about the grades. And that's really how it was. I didn't tell her. And when she walked in that office and I just saw her hurt on her face, she didn't even, it wasn't even a butt whooping. It was just, as we said in the last show, just the look on her face.
Disappointing.
It's just like, oh my God. And afterwards, we leave the school and she's like, you're not staying here anymore. You're not going to be here anymore. And they told my mom exactly what the problem was. And if anybody ever wants to talk to me personally about it, I'll share that with them as to why. But I won't publicly address that. But yeah, man, it took a long time for me to understand why I was talking to the young man and his family, why, my mom truly is my guardian angel. Because in spite of me going and doing acting foolish and everything, she was the main person that was always keeping me lifted in prayer. And never ever gave up on me when she should have.
Right.
Because it was the love that God gave her. And put in her heart. Because it was many times, not even just myself, but other family members that don't deserve, still to this day, the love that she shows.
Yeah.
Because if we look at it on a humane side,
she's not getting it back as she should.
Exactly. But she's not looking at it that way. And that's how God looks at each and every one of us. Because when we ask for it, as long as we show him some type of work and effort, he'll give it to us. And then sometimes he'll give it to us and we won't even deserve it. But he'll just give it to us because he said, this is how I love you. Even in the mistakes that you make, I still love you. And that's what I get from it. And that's why when I woke up this morning, I was in tears because I just recognized how blessed I was. And being able to share that with those people.
It hits me too, man. I was just in my room the other day, man, just by myself, man. And the devil tried to get in my mind, man, but I was like, nah, I gotta do it differently, man. And I just started praising, man. And I was just like, you know what?
We got the camera on, man. Jeez, man. Oh, man. Oh, man.
That's the beauty of it, man. This is, if there's anything I wanted this show to be, man, it's real. Because real touch people. Sugarcoating don't. Real do. So when somebody gonna see this and be like, dang, I'm going through the same thing.
How the worship again. Because for people, it's like they don't know how to get to this connection with God. Because I tried so many times to find it. And I didn't know how. Like I said, I went to church. I tried, didn't know how to. And like I said, I got here. Before I got here, I kept telling my friends in the church, I said, I'm not gonna be here that much longer. And it's not because I said, I want to play the drum somewhere else so I can get better. I want to be able to get better music.
Yeah.
And for the longest, I just kept saying, I want to be a better drummer. I want to be able to go places where we can worship, just play and just really just do whatever. Not say whatever,
feeling,
but it's like you being able to really just play with soul.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think it is when you're a musician, when you're playing something and you just feel it. You may not even be the best musician at that event, but it's just something about when you feel what you're playing to and it touch you. You start doing things you didn't even know you could do. Yeah, and that's just God ministering through you, like letting you use the gift that you decided to do for Him, and it's crazy, man. There's nothing like even, and it's not even for me. It was never about playing at bigger churches. It was just playing with people that had that same feeling.
Yep, with the right people.
Because there's been times I've been at small churches, like hole in the wall, and I hear the piano play, and I'm like, I get to play with this dude, and it just feels great.
Look at the Yank.
Warren Brown.
Warren Brown. That church ain't big.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of people, they look at them and they're just like, you know, like you said, people telling them, you're doing too much. Posting too much videos. Man, I would love to play with Warren Brown. Being able to just play, that's going to help me get better.
Yup. Because you gotta play with better talent around you.
Exactly, and then by helping me get better, I'm able to play with musicians that truly understand what it takes to give and deliver and drive worship music for people like us that love to listen to the CDs and the albums for these major artists. I would love to get to that level, and even if I don't get on the CDs, I could care less about that. I just want to be able to say, yo, I enjoy
the experience.
I just enjoy playing with you. I just enjoy playing. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You always got, you know, sorry.
Hold on.
You just had to do it, you know? You just had to do it, you know? You just had to do it. But, you know, that whole thing, it's just for me, like, being able to minister with musicians that really understand. And then, like, I don't get mad when they correct me and yell at me like if I do something wrong. Like it's just, it's more of like I don't want you to do that because I feel bad when it happens because I know what you're expecting when each musician is playing.
Yeah.
And where I want to be able to be is where you're already at.
Yeah.
So you're pushing me to get there.
Yeah.
And it's not that you're showing hatred, you're showing love. And it's just hard.
Yeah.
It's hard love.
Well, that's love. Love.
A lot of people can't take that.
Tough love.
When they tell you the truth, and you're like my boy Brandon Mack that told me before when I was playing, and I thought I was playing pretty decent with the band.
You grooving.
He was like, man, you too wrist happy, you too happy on the night, man. Be simple. Simplicity is what will get you what you want.
They don't say the pocket page for no reason. Because you got to think about as a drummer, we're like the loudest thing in there already. That's why you see a lot of drummers behind cages. You're already going to be loud.
Cages got the whole,
you know what I'm saying?
The soundproof foam on the top of the cage.
And don't get me wrong, being a drummer, it's a hard job, but it's supposed to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
You got to fall in love with the groove, man, what you're playing.
Which is why I'm now recognized, you know, studying under Brandon Mack and the other drummers, you know, they talk about how critical it is to understand the area that you're playing in and knowing the type of drum that you need for that area and how it should be tuned. Because I asked my boy, I was like, I have a hard problem learning how to tune. He was just like,
yeah, me too.
He said, honestly, you have to find your own sound.
Yeah.
He said, you tune it the proper way, but you have to find the right sound for where you're playing it. Every church doesn't need Sabian cymbals.
No.
Every church doesn't need Zildjian.
No.
Every church doesn't need Zildjian. Now, one of the other is going to be needed because those are the, you know, the main symbols for the
church.
Those
Wuhans you got are not bad.
Man, I'm tired of those Wuhans. I'm ready to level up, bro. Those things are too bright for that chapel, bro. They are too bright for. If I could get Zildjian for the chapel, Zildjian would be a whole lot better for the chapel because it's a darker sound, but it'll fill in perfectly with the sound and the area of the chapel. And then all the reason I know this because my boy Brandon Mack, when he uses them at our church, and we use them and he plays, it's like it's dope. It's like it's just whoo, it's crisp, right to the point and stop.
Yep.
It's not a turn.
Yeah, you don't want that. Really.
You don't want all.
That's like you finding the perfect snare.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I'm interested in finding my sound as well.
Yeah.
And the key thing is in that I believe is getting your snare. Your snare and your drum heads, that's key, and whatever cymbal you want to use.
Because I know, like for me, I love Sabian. I would not mind playing Sabian, but now I think I've been not brainwashed. I'm not gonna say because I used to say I wanted Sabian because I saw
I did
Calvin,
too.
because of Calvin Rogers.
I was friends.
I was big with Calvin when he plays with Sabian. He had
Pearl drums.
Yeah, man. Oh my goodness. I'm a huge fan, but now being at the church I'm at, you know, they use Zildjian.
And Zildjian do sound good.
And when I was playing, you know, I was actually playing on the drums before, and I was like, man, this sounds good. I've yet to play on this new DW set that they just got, but the PDP, that drum set up there, oh my goodness.
DW drum sets in general, man, sound.
My boy Trey, he's a drummer back in the DMV. He played on it, man. Every time he played, he always taking a picture, sending it to me, yo, look where I'm at. He's always excited because the fact of understanding what the levels and the craft, like the BW drum set.
That's just the craftsmanship of whatever you're passing on. You know, if you play drums, you play guitars. Even outside of people, for people who like to say drink, it's not just drinking Hennessy because I'm trying to get turned. It's a craftsmanship that goes into making a bottle of wine or a liqueur or alcohol. It's whatever you are passionate about. You're passionate about it, and you appreciate the craftsmanship of it.
Right.
But yeah, man. But yo, man, I appreciate you sharing your story, and I definitely had to share mine.
Yeah, bro. Cause like the story goes on, but I definitely, I would love to share it with people that are interested in hearing it instead of just sharing it to people that will scroll past it.
Yeah. And we all have a story, man. Yeah. I mean, Ebony, she's been over there quiet over there. I feel like we ain't really hit her passions today. Someone
we hit it hard on the heart just now because I had to calm down.
Hey, man, that's the beauty of it, man. I want our queen to drop some knowledge on some of her past experiences and her growth and where she is now and where we're moving to as we all move in a positive direction.
You said my past experiences.
Past experiences, how you're feeling, things that you've grown from, and where you're moving now, where you're going in the future, the great future that's ahead of you. And I want my man Brad to drop some knowledge. And I want my man Dez to drop some knowledge. I want this thing to flow, man. Let's get groovy. Set that groove, Queen. Set that groove.
I definitely feel like, for me, because of the mistakes I made in my past, made me a better person, a wise person. Really pushed me to change who I am and get closer to God. God, He just got me through a lot of stuff that I didn't know how I was gonna make it. My last 2 years of high school was like horrible. And I didn't know what to do. I just had to grind to get out because I knew for me, if I got home, I just felt like there was nothing else for me to do but go to college. That was the only way I would, that would be a step for me to succeed and, get my degree and stuff. So, I don't want to share my whole story.
No, you ain't got it.
But that's just it. I think, and I also think talent is everything, and don't limit yourself.
I gotta drop it, Brad, give us some knowledge, man. Give us some knowledge, Brad.
I can tell you, it's been a little bit with me, but I remember it was since second grade, elementary school. I've been in class with mentally challenged kids. It was different because I wasn't really in the academic class, and then all throughout middle school, I was in like a thing called IEP. That's my super class. That's extra help. And it's till high school. High school, I say, I think sophomore and junior year. That's when I really had my first academic class that everybody else was taking. So all through those years, it wasn't bad, but I wasn't on the academic level. And they always had progress reports on how my skills are. I feel like when I just kept on looking, it was too crazy. That should not show you how smart you should be over some tests. But I'm just glad I went through all that. And then when I went to academic class, I was fine. Honestly, I didn't graduate with a good GPA, but at the same time, I'm in college. That was my goal.
I ain't even sure how crazy what she done. I can share that part.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I just made it throughout all the tests that I've been through and all that stuff that didn't make it seem like I was that smart to be in academic class like everybody else. I still made it.
Can I say one thing?
Please do, Queen.
I just want to say that it's never over. It's never over. It's something like miracles are possible. Like,
They all have.
don't ever count yourself short. Don't think that it's over. Don't ever like doubt yourself. Doubt yourself to what you think is like there's nothing else that God can do, because He always working. Even in the midst of your mistakes, He always gonna find a better path for you to go.
Exactly.
It's just like you have to do the work also, because He's doing His part. You have to do yours as well.
Exactly.
So it's like, don't give up.
Don't ever give up. Never give up. If there's anything you do in this world, just make sure it's not give up.
Yeah. Because that giving up is like you just throwing it away. It's like you throwing your life away. And it's always something that's like possible to change your outcome.
And if, also I want to say something before J Rock drops his knowledge. If you got a dream, chase that thing. Because somebody said something to me that really stuck out. And they said the richest place in the world is the cemetery. And the first one they said, I got confused. I'm like,
I heard
how
that
in the
too.
world?
Because all of the dreams,
the
movies,
anything.
the music, the poetry, everything is sent down there.
It's stuck there.
And they said
they gave up.
Exactly. No. He said, well, the dude that I heard, he said it wasn't because they gave up, it's because they didn't recognize that they had it at the time that they did.
Okay.
And what happened was,
I like that.
when people was always talking to them and telling them that it wasn't, they didn't listen, and they just stopped.
Right. Well, Gabe, but I see what you're saying. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We bring
you gotta explain that, because when you say you just gave up, it's just like you
right.
you gotta
thank you for that clarification.
You gotta tell them. You gotta tell them, because
clarification.
if they just, it wasn't that they just gave it, it was how they gave up.
Which is actually probably more important than just giving up.
Yeah.
So I get that.
Yeah,
I feel
a lot of times, like, you will do it, and then people be like, yeah, this joint good, but you're not getting the reviews, and then you give up. But it's like, it's different ways that you can look at it, I'm pretty sure. So, however it is that you feel is good.
Come on. You want something?
See how I look out for you, and then y'all don't look out for yourselves? Y'all have me on radio show? Yeah. Close the door.
Oh.
Shout out my man, Mr. Box. Allows this to happen.
What
Shout out
Periscope with
You want something, go get it. No matter what nobody tell you, go get it.
I want you to share your experience that you was about to share. Right after that, I want Des to give a little past experience on things he's been through and his growth. From as you were talking about from high school to now, our experiences and things of that nature.
Yeah. Past experiences from
like things we've gone through in high school and being younger and how we're growing and the great futures that are set before us.
All right, my experience with school is a little different. Academically, I didn't really struggle. I didn't struggle at all academically. A lot of my problems were behavioral. That came from a lot of the issues that I had as concerning father issues. Not feeling adequate enough, not feeling comfortable within myself. So academically in the classroom, I shine like a diamond. But when it came time for social cues and social skills, holding a basic conversation with someone my age, horrible. Middle school, 6th grade, I'd say was the worst year of my life. That was the year where I really got to know God for real. I was lonely, but at the same time, I was comforted. I was lonely because I didn't have anyone my age that I could talk to. A lot of kids teased me. A lot of kids laughed and made jokes about me. I was a fat little kid, I'm not even gonna lie. I was a fat little kid in the 6th grade. Very, very, very chubby. But even with that was all an attempt for masking the pain of not having a dad in the household. So I chose to indulge myself in eating habits. Pop-Tarts was my personal choice.
That was my nickname when I was young. I had a friend of mine, she called me Pop-Tart. She like, every time she called me, what you doing?
You already know.
They used to call me Kellogg because it was regular cereal and Pop-Tarts.
But yeah, man, that was my choice of doing that. So, as far as the wits academically, I would say it was a God-given gift. Like I just didn't struggle academically. Like the way my brain was set up, I would go to whatever class I was in, and my brain was just wired to think in a chalkboard mentality. So I would set up a chalkboard in my mind and figure out what's the shortest way to get this answer. So most people would, you know, write down a problem. It would take, you know, 10 minutes to solve it out. I had the answers the minute that they put it up on the board, you know, and I would always struggle because it was like, socially, like I said, I didn't have a social life. So being smart, having the answer before everybody else, not having a lot of friends, you know, it made me stick out like a sore thumb. High school is when I grew into myself. Football was the best thing that ever happened to me because it helped me shed a few pounds physically. And,
Yeah, me too.
you know, everything started to fit my character. Still never struggled academically, but I wasn't showboating about it. I wasn't very showy and very arrogant and prideful. It was just a very humble, you know, yeah, I know the work, but I can help you out as well. Teachers would always come to me, hey, I need you to go help the class out, even though I did that without them asking. So I was known as like the smart guy in high school, but I stayed to myself. I wasn't really with a specific group in high school. I bounced around from what you would call like nerd geeks that read comics and go to Comic-Con to the jocks and popular kids, you know. So I wasn't really like a stationary friend that was with one group. I bounced around. A lot of the issues that I had, like I said, really stemmed from that father piece. I didn't know how much it was killing me on the inside. It wasn't hurting, it was killing me slowly. That I had what most kids in high school was the image of success. You know, I was accepted into like 3 schools. I was pretty much in the top 15% of my high school. My senior class was 987 students, so I was in the top 15% of them. I never had anything lower than a B in high school, but it was times where I would have those moments of, you know, I'm depressed. I don't feel like getting up today. I don't have anyone I can talk to. I used to get so burning mad when I would hear about other kids, their experiences on the weekend. Me and my dad went out to go so-and-so. They used to burn me up because on my weekends I would be at home, in the house. I don't know, my mom would, of course she would leave the list, you know, good morning, I need you to do X, Y, and Z, and it's listed from 1 to 10, so that was my Saturdays as opposed to saying, yeah, me and my dad went out to the movies, or we went out to the mall, or we went out and played basketball, or just kind of threw the football around. That hurt me, and I didn't know it was hurting me because every time it came up, I suppressed it. I created a system for myself to say, the minute that I hear the word father or dad, shun that out of your head. Don't acknowledge the hurt you feel, just shun it away and, you know, just keep moving because everybody, you know, everyone loves you. Desmond, you do well academically and everyone's like, oh, he's going to do great things, but no one knew that I had low self-esteem, you know, so it was really like a tough period internally for me, you know. It was really a breaking point where my uncle and I had a conversation, and this is what began the closeness that I felt to my uncle. One day I was struggling. I was like, yo, I'm like 16, 17. How do you take care of yourself as a man? Like, it was those basic things like, well, what kind of deodorant do men use? What kind of lotion does a man? Because I live with my mom, so it was like, okay, you know what I mean? So it was like, well, how do men interact with each other? Like, if I go in a room full of men, like, how do I talk? You know, like, do I like go and like, it was small things.
Do I act tough?
Right.
Do I act, you know, how to get?
So, you know, I was in this moment and I felt like God was talking to me. He was like, Desmond, just ask your uncle the question. So I was nervous. God told me 10 minutes prior. 10 minutes later, I'm like, I don't know, God. Like, you know, I mean, yeah, that's my uncle, but that's kind of weird. I'm 16. You asked me to ask this man, you know, oh, I got a question. And I just went out and blurted. I was shaking, nervous. My voice was nervous. I was like, yo, I got a question. He was like, all right, go ahead and ask. I was like, but I don't want you to look at me, you know, I want you to laugh or anything. This is a serious question. He's like, okay. I said, as a man, like, how do you take care of yourself? How do you groom yourself as a man? You know, like, you wash your face. Like, I'm talking about basics. 16 years old, basics. Academically, I'm doing phenomenal. Oh my gosh, honor roll, the whole nine. But that side of me was just like, I would go home and be like, okay, I don't know, do men motion this way? Do we brush our teeth this way? Like, it was those basic things that I had no idea. And I would hear other guys, other people, man, I can't stand my dad, da, 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 da. And I'm listening to them talking, I'm like, yo, you don't even realize how blessed you are. You're looking at me like, you know, oh man, but you got everything. You know, you've never failed a class. Or okay, that's a lie. I did fail 7th grade. You know, I got suspended. A whole nother story. But they looked at me as the poster child for success. But they didn't know that I had those struggling battles on the inside of, well, what do men do? How do they do it? What do you talk about? How do I pick my signature color? How do I pick what haircut I want? You know what I mean? It was those basic things, man.
That's crazy that you talk about that, because those are questions I never, like, some of them I did ask,
Yeah.
but some I never really thought about, you know, certain things.
Because you take it for granted.
Because you take it for granted and you don't look at it that way. And the thing is that when I look at it, as you were figuring that out at 16, I just figured it out after the age of 20.
Yep.
And that's where it shows that everybody gets